Today, I'd like to tell you something more about how I fixed the house. Because many of you asked me how did I manage everything, how it was possible to alone basically do this renovation. Because I was a person with absolutely no knowledge about how to fix a house. I didn't really have any technical background. Um, so, first of all, the most important part was spending countless hours in front of the computer, researching, watching YouTube videos. Yeah, there is a lot of information on the internet you can find these days, and basically with zero knowledge you can start doing things. And plus is that you are going to save a lot of money, first of all, and the second of all is just you will learn something new. And the very big plus of renovating a house by yourself is that in case something happen in future, you basically know every hole in this house, so you know where to find a problem and how to fix it, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so the first very important part of that renovation was just like, as you can see on the video, it was just like to clean absolutely up everything. And there were like so many rubbish. You had to segregate them, find the tools that were useful, because there were like so many old tools, yeah, like ancient tools, primitive tools that people used to use for the daily life. And once I managed to fix the mess around the house, I could basically start focusing on the different things, because that's like from my experience and the experience of the other people that bought a house in Bulgaria, and they like, oh my god, like where I supposed to start, like I don't know what to do, and you start touching 1,000 different things around the house. But my advice is always start cleaning up, like start cleaning up the things, and then you will see the real space, real beauty of that house. Once you get rid of most of the rubbish, then I believe the ideas will start coming to your head, just automatically. And the second really important part was just like to buy a tools. The tools are really important. I was buying lots of different tools. Sometimes I was buying the tools that didn't really know how to use them or what's the purpose of this tools is. But anyway, I just wanted to have everything, under my hand. So once the mess was cleaned up, you could start looking around the house and see, where are the most critical problems. And well, in my example, the problems were basically everywhere. You can see the roof, which is very black there. I didn't know what is this. Then there was a leak from the roof as well, so the water was coming up. If you look down to the beam, there is like a black dot that was like a damp and humidity from the leak. So the floor desk, they're starting in some parts they were like rotting. So the most important part first was just like to keep the wood, the structure, because that's really important to prevent it. So basically this is what I start doing. I started like cleaning up the wood, the most critical parts, and that was my focus, just on the wood everywhere I could find within the house. So the main vertical beam, and as you will see, then to change and replace the rotten desk in the floor, just to be safe and not to fall down to the burn. So once the mess was more or less fixed, I started like saving this big vertical beam, because that's very critical part that holds the construction of the house. And I used here like a very good finish impregnate, just to keep it healthy as long as it can stay. This beam apparently was made from oak, so it's very good wood and it will survive even more couple of 100 years. And then also I was just like try to prevent the doors, you know, because that's they were really nice, and they had been there, they had been made by those people here from very good wood, which was just like apparently wild cherry or oak or maybe walnut. So these days, if you would like to buy such a expensive doors, you would need to pay like a lot. So I focused on the wooden parts, as I explained here. So the same it was with an external doors for the barn. I try to preserve as many doors as I could. I haven't really preserved these middle doors because they were in very bad condition anyway, so they had to be replaced later. This is why I didn't really touch them. But the barn doors and the beams that they are built into the walls, they're really important, so they had to be preserved. So then the next important part of the house was just to try to fix the walls, and I chose to fix them with clay, sand and straw, exactly in the same way like the houses were built in the past. It was the easiest method because I had a clay nearby house, so I had a lot of straw and had some sand. And yeah, I was just like experimenting with the proportion. It wasn't really that difficult. You had to just be careful to keep the clay wet as long as possible. We had to like filter it out through the kind of net to get rid of the bigger stones, etc. And then just like add some straw and sand and plaster the walls. So there was this very bad hole kind of in the wall, so I started applying the mixture, and yeah, it worked pretty well, I have to say. You know, material basically with no money, and maybe half of our spending on preparing the mixture, and the wall was ready. Then I finished the wall. When the clay dried out, I finished the wall with the lime. The most difficult part here was just like to dig a sand. We had to go like down to the river and try to, as you can see, this sand from this little river, like mountain stream. The water was super cold, and yeah, so we had to like with the hand pick up this sand and bring it up to the house. Yeah, that was very tiring part, but well, there were no other option in this place. So yeah, the next part was just like to fix the wood in the floor. Some desks were rotten, so I had to replace them with the new one. Thanks to God, I found some wooden desks on the top of the on the attic. So I just like cut them, clean you know, the edges, and just simply, you know, fill the gaps in the floor. But later on in this video I will show you how I fixed the floor in the end, because this floor became like a subfloor. I didn't want to take off entire floor and put new desk, because some desks were going under the walls, so it would be super difficult, time consumption, and apparently very expensive, and I don't even know if I would be able to fix it myself. So I came with the other solution later on. Yeah, but I'm pretty happy with the result, and there were other benefits of having subfloor. So yeah, here was the mistake I did when I was renovating this part of the house and the ceiling. I shouldn't have took it off as I did, because first of all, this black stuff on the top that you can see, I thought that that was mold or something like this, but the ceiling was covered with lime, and lime is neutral, so the mold won't appear on the top of the lime. Yeah, I almost killed myself and here, but the point is that I didn't know about this, and I thought that this black stuff is just like a mold, and it turned out to be like an old paint. So yeah, so I ended up basically in taking off entire roof, including the wood, and that it shouldn't have been done, you know, because then it just added me more time work and more spends to fix it. You can simply, you know, cover this ceiling with the wood panels, and you know, and that kind of ceiling will work for you like an additional layer to, you know, to keep the to keep basically your house warm. Yeah, and because the lime is like a neutral, so there won't be any mold in between, and they are breathable, so it's very good kind of isolation. But yeah, that was my mistake, and the mistake I didn't repeat in the other part of the house, but yeah, that was just the beginning. So then when the floor was finished, you can see that there are old desk and a new desk. I started to isolating it using simple like roof membrane, you know, just to cover it up and prevent you know, this floor from humidity and stuff like this. I haven't really impregnate this floor. Not too sure if that wasn't a good idea, but this wood was pretty old, but pretty stable, I have to say. You know, I checked properly every single desk, every single panel, if it still keeps the resistance. Do you know what I mean? I had to be sure before installing the proper part of the floor. The problem was that there was like a very big difference between some corners of the house. Even there was just like even minus 25 centimeters in certain places, so I had to level it up to level the floor, and therefore the floor went up, I think, around like 25 centimeters in the lower places. Yeah, so there was just like a quite big difference. But the good point was that between the old floor and the new floor, I put another layer of isolation, so the house became even warmer. That was a huge difference. You know, the floor was super curved. So once I level it up, I started like installing the panels and fill them up with the isolation. So yeah, I put like a kind of isolation between the beams, and then I started installing the panels. So good point is here that this floor became stronger. I had to also cut up a bit the doors, but yeah, there were no other choice, and the floor just will become more stable. So it's like a physics. If you step with the bare foot on the top of the snow, you will drown. But if you put the desk or some panel underneath, like a underneath of your feet, then the force is spreading out on the entire area of the panel. Yeah, so so now this floor became even more like secure, you know, because if you step on one point, you know, the force and everything will go along the panel. And because there are like additional tails, additional like beams that support the new floor, and they are they weren't put along the old beams. They were just like in opposite way to the beams that are underneath the floor, so they even became like a more stable as a wall, if you know what I mean. Yeah, after about can't remember, maybe 2 days of working with the help of my father, we basically came to the other part to the house, started like slowly, you know, measuring if everything is on the right place, if everything, you know, fits to each other, and yeah, and that was how I fixed basically the floor in the end of of the house. That was just the last panels in front of the front doors, and yeah, and the floor was basically ready, leveled up and stabilized. So this is how the living room or the main room looked like at the very beginning when I came to the house, and then after a couple of months of working, that became something like this. Yeah. And there were also a couple of questions. How would I fix the walls? You can see it on one of my video. Basically, I used like a lime and sand. For the beginning, I wanted to get like an effect of turmeric color, so I was just like experimenting a lot with turmeric. I was adding turmeric into the lime and sand, and it became like very beautiful color, like this reddish kind of like orangish. Do you know what I mean? But once the mortar basically dried out, and then turmeric just like lost its original color. So then I found this kind of orangish eco paint somewhere on the market, and I just like decided to go with that color. So yeah, so the walls were fixed like with the lime and sand. I used maybe 20 bags, each 20 kilograms of the lime for all walls inside the house. Yeah, so it was just pretty long process just to try to like keep the shape, to polish them, but I have to admit that I've done pretty bad job on it. So the walls are not very perfectly like a flat. They are like 3D, but it's okay. You know, I didn't want to have like perfectly flat walls anyway, but yeah, this part could have been done better, I have to say. Yeah, so that's everything for this video. If you were enjoying, you know, this process, and then I'm going to show you and explain with my commentary the next part, how I fixed the bedrooms and the hallway. The hallway one was very bad, like very bad. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this video, I'm going to record another one next week and explain you step by step the process of renovating remaining part of my house. See you later.